feel the Detroit Public Schools have a lack of resources, they have lack of funding, which is affecting their ability to service the children in the Detroit Public Schools. Their buildings are old, need renovations. They have substandard textbooks that are sometimes 5 years behind the suburbs, and their teachers are underpaid, sometimes by up to $25,000 less than suburban schools. This is affecting the achievements of the young children in Detroit, and therefore I chose to keep my children out of suburban school. To keep them out of the Detroit public school system.
Detroit public school system is a growing district that's very helpful in the community. It is a district that is putting more money into technology in the classroom and cutting class sizes to help teachers. Our new superintendent of Detroit Public Schools has brought great ideas to Detroit Public Schools that will help the growth of our kids and our educational system.
That one thing that all public schools could use more of, Detroit Public Schools included, is funding. I think funding is a big component of students' ability to kind of take advantage of amenities that the school can offer, such as sports or arts programs like learning how to play the violin or doing art or doing film or sort of any creative endeavor. Now we're seeing more investments go into engineering and sciences and biology, which is great, and even more tech as well. And so I think when there's a lack of funds, and you kind of see this over the last couple of years, in Detroit, in any public schools, really, the lack of funds can really shape the experience of one's public school education system. So I think that funding has to be a key component.
Detroit has the highest literacy rate in the state of Michigan, and it is no surprise that this is the most populated black city as well. It is disappointing to see that one of the biggest cities in the United States has such a high classification of literacy. From this situation, the question we ask ourselves is, who do we blame? Substantial evidence suggests the government had a hand in the downfall of Detroit. According to the Dismantling of an Urban School System, Detroit, 1980 to 2014, in order to fund and prioritize white public schools, Michigan's governor cut higher education funding for the city of Detroit, was unable to raise any new money for the Detroit public school system, and left the school district with $200 million in debt. Detroit's high literacy rate has been caused by the government's cuts on education, resulting in a drop in the employment rate, a rise in dropout rates, and low test scores. The dominant theory I've grasped of how black students attending schools in Detroit struggle to read and write is due to their learning environment. Now, imagine this. Imagine going to school when it's 90 plus degrees outside, and your school building has no AC. Your classmates are passing out from heat strokes and having to be rushed to the hospital. Imagine going to class every day and seeing rat feces everywhere. The smell makes you want to throw up, and you find vermin running all over the classroom. Imagine reading a textbook that was made 20 plus years ago and has outdated information and massive errors in language. This is what the black youth within the Detroit public school system have to deal with every school year, according to the research article, Education Reform and Detroit's Right to Literacy Litigation. Contrary to this, there are many more theories that try to blame the Detroit public school system's academic demise on the black students themselves and their lack of attendance to class. The second theory I've grasped is how the highest risk students in Detroit still receive the least amount of resources. According to the Dismantling of an Urban School System in Detroit, 1980 to 2014, the government stopped adequately funding predominantly black public schools because most students were failing their classes anyways. Instead of working to reverse this, they continued to let the academic system fail and become worse. This is disappointing because the students in the predominantly white public schools were not at-risk students at all and could afford a myriad of academic materials, unlike most black students in Detroit. Yet, they received $2,000 plus more dollars per pupil than Detroit students. The theories I have listed directly correlates the many problems that the Detroit public school system is experiencing. For one, according to the previous mentioned article, the Detroit public schools dropout rate is arguably the worst in the nation. They have shockingly low standardized test scores, and data on the ACT show that only 1.2% of graduates were considered college ready. Black people are intelligent. George Washington Carver, Hadiah Nicole Green, Ben Carson, and Katherine G. Johnson are just to name a few who have made immeasurable contributions to humankind. If only all black people could have equal education, the sky will be the limit for the things that we can accomplish for mankind. Black people are here to stay, and because of that, the literacy rate for black students in Detroit needs to increase for the betterment of society. Thank you.